The reason premium share is important is because it allows you then to have the employee have skin in the game. So that if the Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield plan is really expensive, which it is, and I decided, well, I'm a single guy, I'm 25 years old, I'm probably not going to have to go to the doctor at all. Why do I want to pay all that? I'll go in the cheaper plan over here that has higher deductibles and less coverage, but it's a lot less expensive, and I can keep more of my own money. Or I'm somebody who has more health challenges, and I'm going to need that better coverage, so it's worth it to me to pay for the better coverage. You let people make that choice. 3 choices in New Jersey, which is really only 1. The federal plan, 269 choices. Now, that's a little crazy, too. That's typical of the federal government, right? So we got to land somewhere in between those 2. But we need to give people choice that will drive down expense as well. And if you pay a percentage of the premium, you have incentive to pick the plan that is the best for you and the most cost-effective for you. If we're picking up the whole tab, why wouldn't you take the best? Everybody would do that. Next, there is something that Jon Corzine did that of all the things that I'm figuring out he did when he was here, this is the one that mystifies me the most. Now, I just told you about this great state employee benefit plan that we have. $15 copays. It's crazy. 1.5% of salary for this great insurance that covers your whole family. Governor Corzine decided that this wasn't quite good enough. So he created the school employee health benefit plan. My title for this is Merry Christmas, New Jersey Education Association, because that's what this was. This plan is even richer. This has only $10 copays and even better, richer coverage, and it's available only to school employees. And who determines what it costs? A board of school employees. We would, in this plan, eliminate the school employee health benefit plan. It's not necessary. It is incredibly rich, and they can do just fine under the plan that everybody else has. There's no reason for the teachers union to have their own plan except that they have $130 million in dues every year that they spend to pay lobbyists and make political contributions, and that's how they got the plan. Well, guess what? Under this plan, we take it away from them because you're the ones who are paying for it. We will also work on things like the copay charges and trips to specialists and emergency rooms and out-of-network charges and all the rest of those things, out-of-pocket costs, to make them more in line with what everybody else in this room is paying. And believe me, right now they're not. If we do those things, we're going to be able to avoid the enormous increase of costs that are coming. I want you to think about this. Again, as I said with the pensions, if we do nothing, if we leave the system in place the way it is now, costs will increase by 40% over the next 4 years. So take that $4.3 billion and do the math. 40% higher in the next 4 years. That all comes out of current budgetary spending. There is no fund put aside to pay for this like the pension fund. That means it's coming out of the budget, which means either other programs need to be cut or taxes need to be increased to pay for this. And you know I'm not increasing taxes, so that means there's going to be other programs that are valuable programs that are going to need to be cut to make room for this. And to give you some idea of how far this has grown and how quickly, it is now, health benefits is now 9% of the total state budget. 9% of our entire state budget is taken up by paying for these health benefits. 10 years ago, it was 4.5% of the budget. In 10 years, the cost to the state has doubled. And we're talking about a 40% increase in the next 4 years. So if we went over the next 10 years, it would more than double. Again, we can't afford it. Now, you know, I hate to be the guy who always has to come here across the state and tell you all, we can't afford this stuff. But we can't. And unlike the President of the United States, I can't print money. Okay? So I got what I got. And I'm not taking any more from all of you. It's the wrong thing to do. And so, like you're doing every day right now, we need to make do with what we have. And we have to make choices. Direct, difficult, painful choices. And I'll end with this, and then I'm ready to take your questions. There's been a lot of conversation over the course of my first 8 months about my relationship with the New Jersey Education Association, or lack thereof. Let me be really clear about this again. I have nothing but respect for good teachers. Nothing. They work hard, and every day they are nurturing and teaching the most precious assets we have in our lives, our children. So my argument are not with teachers, good teachers. My argument is with a union that collects $130 million a year in dues, that has every teacher and school employee pay $730 a year in mandatory dues taken right out of their payroll. And think about this for a second. You'll love this. There's only in New Jersey you could come up with this. If you don't want to be a member of the teachers union, if you don't want to be a member, you don't have to be. To not be a member of the teachers union, you pay 85% of $730 to not be a member. And then if you show up at a meeting, they don't let you in. This is like, for those of you of my generation, this is like the Hotel California, right? You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. They use this money not to advance the cause of education in the state. They use this money to get benefits like this, to get salaries that before I became governor were increasing on average of 4.9% a year in a 0 to 1% inflation world, to maintain and protect and intimidate, to keep free health benefits in a society where people are lucky to have health benefits at all. So here's my point. My point is we are in a tough, tough economic time. And there is no group in our society who should be sheltered from these difficult economic times, especially when that shelter is being paid for by the very people who are being hurt the most by the recession. And so my argument is with people who refuse to be a part of shared sacrifice, with people who refuse to stand up and say, I understand, it's my time to give something back as well. And so when you hear all this craziness, remember this. This is the group who, when I asked them to take a pay freeze for 1 year and contribute 1.5% of their salary to their health benefits, which would have saved $700 million this year, which would have preserved almost every teaching job that had to be laid off this year because of $820 million in budget cuts we had to make, they said no thank you. They said no thank you. And not only say no thank you, but they held a rally in Trenton where they said that by me asking them to take a pay freeze and a 1.5% contribution to their health benefits, that was the greatest assault on public education in New Jersey in our history. Let me ask you something. I know nobody likes to take a pay freeze, but I bet you a lot of people out here haven't gotten a raise in a while. Nobody wants to pay more for their health benefits, but I bet everybody, if you have them, has paid more for your health benefits. And do you really think it's a great assault on the public education system in New Jersey? I mean, really. Do you think your child goes to school now, this year, if the teachers had taken a pay freeze and contributed towards their health benefits, and they come to you and say, Mom, Dad, I don't know, I can't study, I can't learn, because I now know that my teacher didn't get a raise this year. And here's what I need. You please have to give this teacher their 5% raise, because if you do, I'll be able to learn. And if you don't, I won't. Now, it's laughable, right? It's crazy. But this is what they try to sell you when they say it's for the kids. It's for the kids. Vote for the school budget because it's for the kids. Vote for my 5% salary increase because it's for the kids. Keep giving me my free health benefits because it's for the kids. No, it's not. And the problem for them right now is we finally all figured it out. We finally all figured out it's not for the kids. And so if it was really for the kids, you take the pay freeze so that the music teacher doesn't get laid off. If it was really for the kids, you take the pay freeze so that the young math teacher doesn't get laid off. If it's really for the kids, you take the pay freeze and you become a part of the shared sacrifice. So now we've got 97 days left. 97 days till the end of this legislative session. And I already hear the carping and complaining from the majority in the legislature. They don't want to deal with this stuff because it's hard. They don't want to deal with this stuff because they take political contributions from these people. They don't want to deal with this stuff because these folks have put them into office. Well, they got 97 days to prove to you that that's wrong. They got 97 days to show you that what they care about is the greater good in this state. That everybody matters in this state, not just the ones who can afford lobbyists in Trenton. And so I'm going to keep pushing for this stuff. And there are going to be some people who are angry about it, and I'm happy to listen to them. But I got sent to clean up this mess. And that's why I proposed ethics reform last week, which we need to have. Believe me, after being U.S. Attorney for 7 years and putting 130 politicians, Republicans and Democrats in jail, I know a little bit about trying to see what we can do to fix that. That's why we need pension and benefit reform. Next week we're going to talk about ways that we're going to try to help create more private sector jobs by making New Jersey more competitive, less regulation, to let businesses grow and so people can get back to work. And then the week after... And then the week after that, we're going to talk about education reform and changing a system that is too expensive and yielding too little for too many. Just keep this in mind on education reform. In the city of Newark, we pay $24,000 per pupil per year, and the dropout rate is nearly 50%. Now listen, I'd be willing to pay $24,000 a year if we had success, because that investment would yield great things in that new generation of educated, hopeful, hardworking children who would stay in New Jersey and build businesses and grow jobs. But when we have a 50% dropout rate, we can no longer justify an educational system which has obviously failed and broken, and not just in Newark, in plenty of other places too. So we're going to talk about that week after next. So this reform agenda is about fulfilling the compact that I made with all of you when I ran, and doing what I said I was going to do. None of it's going to be easy. None of it's going to be pretty. But it's got to be done. And in your heart, you know it. And the only way we're going to succeed as a state is if we get to work on this, and we get to work now.